Skyrim in 2025 looks absolutely insane, but if you could only install one graphics mod list, which should it be? Two massive mod lists, ElderGleam and NGVO, are pushing Skyrim graphics to their limits. But which one truly delivers the best experience? Today, we're putting them head to head in a visual showdown to see which mod list deserves a spot to build off of for your load order. ElderGleam is all about lush, dense fantasy forests, almost like stepping into a dream. In NGVO, though, it leans a bit more into the realism, less dense but incredibly detailed. ElderGleam uses warmer fantasy-like lighting, while NGVO embraces deep cinematic shadows. NGVO's water is more photorealistic, but ElderGleam's skies have that next-gen RPG feel. ElderGleam's water stays crystal clear, while NGVO reacts dynamically, sometimes pristine, sometimes murky, depending on the weather and environment. So which Skyrim do you prefer, fantasy enhanced or ultra realistic vibes? Most of the time, both mod lists ran at a rock solid 60 FPS at 2K resolution, but ElderGleam occasionally dipped in ultra dense forests, while NGVO had minor slowdowns in heavy rain. Both are well optimized, but high-end users will get the smoothest experience. As for animations, both games feature their own animations, which both have quirks of their own, but for me personally, I think I preferred ElderGleam's animations, as the jumping while running animation in NGVO is sort of like a dolphin dive, and it was really throwing me off. VRAM and system requirements. NGVO is a beast, best for high-end PCs. ElderGleam is a bit more forgiving, but it's still demanding. Both of the mod lists require a 40GB page file and to be ran off of an M.2 SSD. However, NGVO recommends you play with 32GB of DDR4 RAM, while ElderGleam recommends 16GB of DDR5. Both of these are actually comparable in price, depending on speed. Both mod lists' graphical recommendations recommend you to utilize a 4060 or higher graphics card. For the minimum graphics requirements, NGVO recommends an i5 10th gen, with 16GB of DDR4, a SATA SSD, and a 3060. For ElderGleam, it recommends at the minimum an i5 9th gen, 16GB of DDR4, a SATA SSD, and a 3060 Ti. So overall for PC specs, they line up pretty closely, with ElderGleam's minimum being slightly higher, while the high end are pretty much the same. On to installation and compatibility. Both ElderGleam and NGVO are installed exactly the same way, through Wabbajack. If you need a step-by-step guide on that, check out my quick and easy Wabbajack tutorial linked in the cards above or in the description below. As for ENB compatibility, both mod lists come pre-equipped with everything you need to install ENBs. They also feature a few recommended ENBs that can be toggled in their mod organizer too. For this video, both mod lists were featured utilizing Cabbage ENB. They do also come with community shaders if you have a PC that can't quite run ENBs. Community shaders are like a pseudo ENB. It's not going to look as good as ENBs, but it's better than vanilla. What are some of the best mods to pair with it? So these mod lists are both set up to be the foundation for your own mod list, meaning gameplay is very simple or untouched at all, leaning much more into the graphical side. This means you can install your own gameplay overhaul such as Requiem, perk overhauls like Vulcanator Black, or anything your heart desires. Now, the type of mods I wouldn't add in unless you want to patch or you know what you're doing with Xedit, these would be anything that affects lighting, graphics, water, trees, grass, weather, and sounds for the most part. ElderGleam uses Edge UI and NGVO uses Untarnished UI. Edge UI feels like a modern RPG HUD, sleek, smooth, and fresh. Untarnished UI keeps things traditional, like a polished version of classic Skyrim's UI. So the question is, do you want modern or nostalgic? You can quite easily swap these out after a quick look at the UI mod page you want to install, and then following the instructions while unticking the old UI, obviously. These lists are intended to be highly moddable, and as such, both mod lists have discords where you can get very specific questions answered. So if you have any that aren't basic installation questions, go ask those questions in their Discord rather than in my comments, as they can help you out better. So, which one should you install? If you want a next-gen fantasy Skyrim with a modern UI, ElderGleam is the way to go, and my personal preference for building my own mod lists. But if you're chasing ultra-realistic documentary-level immersion with a clean UI, NGVO delivers. Either way, you're getting the best Skyrim has ever looked in just a few clicks. So which mod list is your pick? Drop a comment below, and if you're ready to see the most insane next-gen Skyrim mod list, check out my deep dive on Novus V6. It makes Skyrim look like a whole new game.